to go or how to address issues. So, without much ado, if you leave Mansa Musa alone, I can talk for England. Yanko Ghana and go welcome Dr. Adam Bona. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mansa Musa. Good evening. Good evening to your listeners.
Thank you. Thank you. On their behalf, I'm saying good evening. Thank you for greeting us. Right. Today, I heard you, I saw you on various platforms explaining things. So it's only fair, it's only good that we here in the UK and in Europe and elsewhere, we do hear about you guys a lot, but sometimes it's better to hear from you too. So let's go straight to the point. This apparent police, what do you call, discussion or conversation, that leaked tape. Have you listened to it? Have you listened to the material?
Yes, I have listened to the tape. I've listened to what is out there, and I've also listened and watched what is not out there. So, what you have listened to, just as the whole world have listened to, is just about a quarter of what has not been listened to and has not been watched. And so I have the privilege of having listened to probably, about a 2.5 hour tape. And then some portions of the tape, about 30 or more minutes also in video. And so that's some aspects of it, a large aspect of the tape is not too good, it's too injurious to the public. It's not everything security you put out there. And so some of us who
NFM
have
Radio.
seen and listened to probably, a chunk of what was secretly recorded, I've urged those who might have copies of a longer version of the tape, not to put it out there because it will be injurious to the peace and security of this country. And so, yes, I have listened to it, and I have done analysis of it, and so yes, I'm privy to the tape, and yeah.
You being from a security outfit, or the security aspect of everything that we hear, let me ask you the exact details or give us some answers to some of the technical details. What you listened to, did it appeal to you as genuine? I mean, in the sense that the voices were not AI, artificial intelligence, formulated. The people attributed to and the rest. Tell us about it. Is it a genuine sort of material that we are talking about?
Yes, from the security point of view and from the technological, in terms of anyone who has made a claim of artificial intelligence or AI, you must understand how technology works. And so I want anyone to tell me that you are using AI to reproduce someone's voice and you are talking about, what do you call that, a certain delivery of wache into the meeting place. You have several telephone calls coming in. You have, the ambience, and you have the location where the supposed meeting. I don't know whether that is part of the 50 or an hour recording that is already in the public domain, but a certain dental clinic's name was mentioned. A certain dispatch rider was mentioned. A certain secretary to a certain office was called in to deliver something. And so, based on all these factors and, how you are talking about, if you want to do, is like if you are recording something in your studio, the quality of the sound, everything will have to be up to a certain level. But you can see, if you listen to the video, at certain points, you can hear clarity. At certain points, clarity is obstructed. You don't hear it properly. You need to probably attempt to amplify it to understand what they are saying. And someone recorded them, and whoever might have recorded them, obviously, is a living person. The person who recorded them, we are told, is one Bugurin Abu, the former regional MPP chairman in the northern region. His name was mentioned. All these people, and if you listen to the tape, this person said, me, I am not educated. He said the person they were trying to convince to go and get the president to do the unthinkable, said he's not educated. He doesn't know how technology works. He cannot even, apart from making and receiving calls from his phone, he doesn't know, other functions on his phone. So anyone who probably wants to claim that this looks like, artificial, the use of technology to generate this, should research and see. Just attempt to research, attempt to ask those who are technologically inclined to know whether, this is consistent with actual human beings talking, or it is inconsistent with actual human beings talking. So yeah, that is, so I would say that, but the genuineness of it, I would say Parliament, there is a bipartisan committee put together to investigate the veracity or otherwise of this tape, and make recommendations with regards to sanctions and reforms in the Ghana Police Service. I doubt the Speaker of Parliament, and knowing that Parliament is one of the organs of government, for the Speaker to form a parliamentary probe, bipartisan probe, they obviously would have done their own consultations. They would have asked other people to help them to authenticate it in a way before such a call will be made for a bipartisan committee to interrogate this, be put in place. And so there is no way you would tell me that the Speaker of Parliament, knowing how much resources available to the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament and Parliament as an organ of government, will make such a definite call for a bipartisan, committee to interrogate this without any basis. I don't think so. And so I do believe that this is legitimate. It needs to be investigated further to know their real intentions, what they wanted to do, and all that. We need to know.
Still on the technical aspect or the technological aspect, I was making a bit of, I was just being funny here with myself, saying one day I was at, in my own home, my own room, and I was like contemplating on certain things. Then later I said, hey, maybe somebody is recording me. But putting the jokes aside, just this afternoon before I started the program, someone called from London here. And when I say hello, for almost 5 minutes, later I realized maybe she might have, tapped this in by mistake. And, well, it wasn't very clear, but what they were talking about was hearing everything. This day and age, I mean, for police officers or officer to, organize a clandestine, so to speak, allegedly, why do you think they wouldn't be so, careful about what they say, how they say it, and where, to whom, and everything? Why will anyone be so loose when it comes to something like this, especially being a policeman?
It's difficult. It's difficult because, you see, the Ghana police structure, the highest position before IGP, the chief constable, or the inspector general of police is a commissioner of police, and so you would have to go through various ranks to get to that level. When you get there, the next appointment you get is a political appointment where the president nominates you and, puts you in an acting position or puts you, in an active position and confirming you. And so to have, these are senior police officers, it's not just one, senior police officers ganging up allegedly to do this. If it comes out, everything checked, one will say, when you are desperate, when people are desperate, they tend to do things without thinking. They tend to do things not believing that they are actually exposed, because then a lot of the things they said, you are a journalist. If you realize the politician they were talking to who claimed he wasn't educated and was an illiterate, basically what he was saying was virtually just asking them leading questions. How do you know, for instance, example of a question, how do you know this person is not going to help the MPP to break the 8? As oh, we know, for instance, Asin no. We took him to Asin and he was too strict. He made sure the rules worked, and that is how we lost Asin. Then he went further to ask. You said police officers don't like him. How do you know? And so, if you speak to 100 police officers in Ghana, only 2 of them, and even those 2 of them would be his family members who would like him in the police service. And he goes further to say, you said he doesn't like. I say, yes, he arrested some MPP executives, some party executives in Ghana. I mean, he's been arresting them when they break road traffic regulations, when they commit crimes, he arrests them, and all that. And so you can see that their level of alertness. Sometimes, if this thing is, after investigations, if you ask me, I will tell you that they might have acted this way out of desperation. When you are desperate, you tend to lose your senses. Anything goes. You misbehave. You do all manner of stuff. And they were, allegedly too desperate to be IG to oust one of their own, according to them, so that they can break the 8 for the MPP. But fortunately, they actually, said the president is not a listening president. They've tried to get him to remove the IGP, and the president said no. And so some of us have urged that let's not politicize this. Because first of all, they vindicated the IGP, the president, by saying that the president wasn't interested. And mind you, this is a secretly recorded audio. It wasn't as if they knew and they were talking, in a manner that would favor the president. They didn't know. But once the tape came out, you want to do a holistic analysis of the tape and put matters the way they are supposed to be. So as far as I'm concerned, an act of desperation, that is what led them to this. And also, desperation for them to create chaos and probably civil unrest if they were to, whatever their intention was to materialize, because you want to break the 8, right? I don't think the NDC
NFM Radio
is going to look on, Ghanaians are going to look on for you to attempt anything funny, because an IGP cannot break the 8 for any party. Under President Mama Kudalo, John Kudalo used to be the IGP in 2016. Okay, John Mama, His Excellency, the former president, lost 2016 elections by about 1 million votes. Okay, who appointed Kudalo? Was it not John Mama? Was Kudalo able to scheme to do this? But I have said repeatedly.
Dr. Bona, you see, the point here is for us to, arrive or summarize that the police hierarchy cannot influence the direction or results of an election. I don't think it is safe to say that, because obviously the reason why this gentleman, if it's true, they wanted to hatch that plan, is that it's possible, because if you have the hierarchy trying to, saying that nobody should bring weapons, for instance, then they allow other side to bring weapons and they don't check them. and they allow other side to maybe seize boxes and to ruffle everything, to mess everything up, to make it easier for whoever they want to win. Obviously, it's going to create chaos. But to say that the hierarchy, especially the security, cannot be of any influence, to the outcome of an election, maybe that will be fair. I mean, a bit, should I say, I don't want to say naive, but it is far-fetched. Let's stay on how so far how.
Let me just explain.
Go ahead.
Not explain. Let me just
go ahead.
Let me just explain something to you. You see, I'm saying this because of historical antecedents. I'm saying this because of historical antecedents, and you don't want to analyze this in terms of security, looking at it from a point of view of what attempting to break the 8 using force would do. You want to do a holistic analysis. If you listen to me this morning attentively on Metro TV, I made a certain allusion. What I said was that the 1966 coup was undertaken by police and military joint coup. If you look at most of the coups that have taken place in Ghana, in one way or the other, we later got to know some police officers were also part of the military who undertook the coup. Okay, so this is what I am thinking. If this thing comes out checked, everything is confirmed, through the investigations, the probe that will be conducted. First of all, check what is going on in Senegal and check what has taken place in several African countries,
yes,
including Cote d'Ivoire and the rest. Anytime there is civil unrest, the military uses that, or the state security uses that as a yardstick to get rid of the civilian administration and impose themselves on the people. And so if you ask me from the security standpoint, I will tell you that the only reason why you would attempt to do that would be because you want, when there is chaos in 2024, 7th December, when there is chaos because NDC is not going to look on for you to break the 8.
Yes.
Ghanaians, like-minded Ghanaians aren't going to look on for you to break the 8. They would want their mandate. They would want that, their votes are counted. And for instance, you try to attempt anything like we saw in Ayawaso West Wagon, and there is chaos. Can you imagine we have 276 or so constituencies, and you even have.
Well, but that is, the attempt.
Let me just land.
Okay.
I'm coming. Let me just land. And you have 100 of these constituencies gone into, serious disputes, and people are fighting. I'm sure the state security would be difficult to manage such a situation. And so what I am saying is that it is not as if these persons, allegedly, if this guy and his cohorts were put as IGPs, they will not be able to do that. But what I'm trying to say is that in their bid to do it, if indeed they have to do it, which they can, Ghanaians would resist any attempt. And in resisting the attempt to impose or do away with the people's will, there will be chaos. And anytime there is chaos in any country, usually the security agencies impose themselves.
Yes.
So what I am trying to say is that that is a possibility.
Yes.
And that possibility is not far away from the truth. Because when I say it is not far away from the truth, I am saying that since 1992, no IGP has been able to do that. Of course, we saw 2020 where there were chaos here and there. 2020 was a difficult election. People lost their lives. Since 1992, we haven't had elections, main elections, where so many people, 8 or so people lost their lives in an election. And so mine is that I believe that probably it was just one of those things. But can you imagine that you think about doing this And Ghanaians resist every attempt, just as you are seeing in Senegal, as you saw in Cote d'Ivoire.
Let's cover a wider range aspect of this case. I mean, you've made the point. The what I can add is that it is the attempt, the attempt to throw the country into chaos. That can be done. We cannot assume or say, oh, it cannot be done. It can be done. That's why we have to safeguard. Otherwise, we are presuming that, oh, what he has said should be ignored because after all, they cannot do it.
It shouldn't be ignored. No.
That will be a dangerous position. Anyway, so now you said the parliament have set up a committee bipartisan here and there. Are you satisfied with the how do we call it? The action, or let's say so far how the government, the executive, have come about with this issue? I mean, should somebody have done more, or you think it's okay for now?
Okay, so it is not okay for now. But the most important thing is that I do believe that by the time the committee is properly constituted, some of the things we are expecting should have taken place. One, I was expecting the police council to have met. The police council is chaired by the vice president, and you know the vice president has been indicted in this tape. These disgruntled police officers actually alleged that the vice president, who happens to be by law the chairman of the police council, is not in talking terms with the IGP. They also alleged that the Honorable Attorney General and the Minister of Justice is not in talking terms with the IGP. Honorable Bedi Etuo, who is the Secretary to the President, is not in talking terms with the IGP. They alleged that, Gabi Ochredakon, the same thing, and then you have Eugene Ahen, who works at the office of the president, all of these persons. So these are wild allegations, allegedly, that by now the police council should have met, and these individuals interdicted swiftly pending further investigations. Because as we speak, these persons are still in active service. They have not, once you interdict them, it means that their power, for instance, if you are interdicted, if you are operating a radio equipment, all those things will be taken away until, you are cleared of any purported crime, so that you don't interfere, you don't meddle with, any future investigations against you. And so that should have been the right thing to do by the executive. And remember, the executive, the police council is part of the executive. It's directly under the executive. So the executive should have taken those remedial measures. But with regards to the other organ of government, which is Parliament, they have taken the right step in constituting a bipartisan committee. We are yet to know the committee members, 3 from each side. And then one technical person will be co-opted to help with whatever,
You see, but my difficulty
conducted.
with all this is that should it be left with Parliament to investigate? I think this is a case in any jurisdiction proper. I always use the word, very carefully, but it's true. Any proper jurisdiction, this, the police themselves will have an independent body. Whenever something happens in the police or, within the police, they investigate. We have investigative arms of, governance in Ghana, including the special prosecutor, including Attorney General. Why is these organs, these bodies, not straight away coming in to say, hey, for now, whoever is suspected, indicted, or maybe asked to stay away, and this investigation has been started by certain organs of governance, instead of sitting down for Parliament to start this? Are you satisfied with? I mean, should we be satisfied with this sort of mode of operations?
Well, I would say in one way or the other, yes, I'm satisfied, but not entirely. as we say in our local parlance, if plentiful fish will not mess up the soup. It wouldn't be bad to have multiple investigative, agencies investigating this serious national security threats. Anything that has to do with elections in this country and also attempting to subvert the will of the people, seriously would obviously affect the peace and security of this country. And so all of these parties should have been interested in it. But you see, be as it may, as we say, at least we have Parliament rising to the occasion and doing us the honors by ensuring that they, if no one is interested, they will do it. And remember, in Parliament, you have the executive is represented in Parliament. The minority is represented in Parliament. And also remember, Parliament has so much power because every apart from Lolobi, Akafo, the South area where there is no MP, which is a blot on our democracy, all other areas in this country, we have MPs, sitting MPs, even including Jachi Kwesen, who was recently removed and voted back into Parliament. And so mine is that it's not bad. It's okay to have a parliamentary probe, which I think
Dr.
would be more representative enough.
Dr. Bonner, this is the problem we're having in our country, or with our country, with the governance. We, the people, somehow, get bogged down with accepting biara mediocrity or attitude, which is very wrong. Because this case, no matter how you look at it, anything, no matter what it is dangerous. One, if it should be investigated to find out if the tape, the audio, everything is genuine, and the people who are supposed to have said those things, they are really the people who said it. That's one. Two, if you found out that it's fake, someone is bluffing from somewhere, faked something, it's also very serious. These things cannot be taken as jokes. Nowhere on this planet. You can't fake it. Even if somebody just wanted to bluff his way out and fake it and everything, those people should be ousted. They should be brought to book. And we maybe later apologize to these officers whose image or whatever had been soiled. So for me, for us to accept a little bit, it's not okay, but we have to. I'm still repeating, sir. We have proper investigative, serious organs in the country when something like this. In fact, if it were soldiers, we would say this is treason and anything can come out of this. So why are we treated as a country, treating this as though, it's, it is as usual, business as usual, let's move on. Given that, let me give you the historical, some things that has happened that we have just overlooked. There was this tape audio thing about Ampafo, what is his name? The former chairman of NDC.
Ofosu Ampafo.
That one, it was taken seriously. Apparently, is being persecuted, people are saying. But, legally, they are doing the right thing. Then we had a certain audio, serious pronouncement, serious tribal, bigotry. Apparently coming from the regional minister, Ashanti regional minister. All what he said, he wasn't the one. Nobody investigated. Up to date, that serious tribal bigotry, which will have landed anybody in prison if it's in the UK here. Nobody actually knows the truth about that. As a country, are we always going to sit down, or we will wait till another party come that we may not be afraid of them too much, then we will try to ask for perfection? What do you make of my long monologue?
No, I think you are right to a very large extent, but you need to remember that our Constitution limits us when it comes to certain things. Remember, the president per the Constitution is like a monarch. You have the president per our Constitution at any given point it's like the person when he speaks, that's the end of it. You cannot. And so I say this because, first of all, remember all prosecutions in Ghana, criminal prosecutions, actually, are done, emanates and are done for and on behalf of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice of Ghana. And therefore, at any given point, if the Minister of Justice decides to do a prosecution, he will do it. If he decides not to do to prosecute anyone, it becomes difficult because we don't have private prosecutions in Ghana. And you spoke about the Independent Police Commission. The Ayawaso West Wagon Commission report recommended for an independent police commission to be put in place. They would have done these investigations. But the president whitewashed it. The president said no. The president of the republic, the current president, whitewashed it and said no. He's not interested in, an independent police commission. He actually said that Shraj is already doing some work. We already know Shraj is understaffed and don't have the resources. And so an independent police commission would have served the interests of the general populace and even the police service themselves. But he said no, he doesn't want it. And once he says he doesn't want it until some other person comes and decides or something happens, we are not going to have it. And so mine is that the Constitution creates the gaps we are talking about. So usually when these things happen, it becomes difficult to, we can talk about it and push them to get certain things done. You remember, Ayawaso West Wagon by-election confrontation.
Sure.
I'm sure you read the report and the white paper that came out. The president, in one way or the other, actually said that the gentleman who slapped Honorable Sam George was provoked. But you and I know that it doesn't lie in the mouth of the president to decide how provocation is. Provocation under our law, Act 29, you can go and look at it. There is no way, anyone who has done a basic law will tell you that under Ghanaian law, provocation is properly defined. And what the president said as an astute lawyer would not constitute provocation, okay? Would not constitute provocation. And therefore, the gentleman who slapped Sam George actually assaulted and battered him per our laws and therefore should have been prosecuted, but he's walking free. And so mine is that, and I can't go to court. If Sam George could have just decided to, probably file, some civil suit in court against the gentleman who, assaulted and battered him. But apart from that, Sam George cannot prosecute the guy by himself because per our, jurisprudence and our laws, those things are done by, the government. That is why you hear the republic versus so and so. And so mine is that, yes, everything you said is perfectly legitimate. The only thing is that until such a time that we have proper constitutional amendment, remember, since 1992, since this Constitution was promulgated, we really haven't done any serious amendment. We have had one, court, Supreme Court, amended portions of the Constitution here and there. But a holistic review like the late Professor Mills put a committee in place to do, or commission in place to do, that thing is still, review is still gathering dust. And so mine is that even though you didn't call me about the constitutionality and the power of the president, I'm only speaking directly to the question and what you spoke about, and to let you know that unfortunately, the president is too powerful. We don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time for tonight. That's why I don't want to go into the Constitution, because obviously Constitution usually don't cater for or think that some time will come where a country will have a president who ignore all, counsel from left, right, and center.
Let me help you. You see, for instance, you have Ofoswan Pofo is under prosecution.
Yes.
The late McPalm and his team under prosecution. These are all recorded tapes. But you do also remember that under the Galamsey, whatever,
yes,
one person actually said, "Yeah, Pesikani, ABCD."
Another one. Maybe Ghanaians don't want to know, but I remember Kevin Taylor playing some audios as well. All these things should have been at least investigated to actually prove that whether it's true or not. But nothing happens. Anyway, let's move because of your time. I know you yourself, you know where you want to be or you have to be. So let's fix in some feud before you go. You said something this morning. I have to say, well, I'm not in agreement with you, and that is, you said you asked a question, a rhetorical. What should the president come and say? After all, he's being investigated by this and that, and some people have come to refute and this and that. So that one, I totally don't agree with you, because this case, I tell you, even some you will be surprised to know that maybe even some diplomats in their enclaves are discussing it. A case like this that the whole country is talking about, the country first gentleman, so to speak, the president cannot be said to say, oh, he hasn't got nothing to add or say. So that side alone, I do not agree with you.
Well, I accept. I mean, agreement and disagreement is part of our democracy. So I agree if you don't agree with me.
No,
but
do you accept that the president should talk, should be asked, and at least saying that, look, it's in the hands of this and that and that. To say that the president has nothing to say was wrong, I think.
Let me say this. The reason why I still believe the president doesn't need to begin to preempt what we say is because, first of all, his name was mentioned.
Yes.
The interior minister came to say, well, we are not interested in removing the IGP. That is 2. And then 3, Parliament has constituted, what's the name? Bipartisan, committee to probe it. And so I am definitely sure that along the line, we are going to begin to urge the president to now begin to make pronouncements.
He has to.
When probably. When probably, hang on. When the investigations are finished. Remember, if the tape is authenticated eventually, what will happen, assuming recommendations are made for prosecutions, we are going to insist that the president makes pronouncement and tells Ghanaians that the right thing must be done, and the police or the attorney general or whoever outfit, the special prosecutor, whoever should take up this, and make sure prosecutions are done. Just like you said, yes.
Well, we all know, you and I know that if it was in America, they won't wait for anybody. The president will have to make a comment, no matter what. But let's move on. Look, before you go, I have blocked so many calls. People want to come in. This fellow, though, he actually called immediately you came on, so he stay here all along. I think it's only fair that I allow him to ask his question quickly, then we will leave you to go. In fact, I really appreciate, because I know you have to go to Joy News as well. Adam.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Adam. If you can hear me, take it away. Have you got a question?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. If he can be snappy, so that I can run. Yes.
Towards the conversation you.
Adam, can you raise your voice a bit, because I cannot hear you?
I just want to make submission regarding the conversation you're having now.
Oh, okay. So it's not a question to him or anything.
No.
Oh,
he's made a very wonderful speeches, and I do appreciate whatever he said. But Ghana.
Hang on a second. The fellow has to go. So if it's just a submission, hold on for me. I'll let you speak. I just want someone to engage him quickly. Then we can let him go. Then we can have our own conversation. 8303. Hello.
NFM Radio.
Ebuda hoyanko yenibre.
I heard you interviewing Dr. Bona, and my question is that, for a fair play, don't you think that it would have been appropriate for the government to suspend these people pending investigation? Because You know, in any institution, when something like that happens, whether being true or not true, once their names and all this video that has come up, they should be suspended pending investigation. You know, we shouldn't wait and have them, you know, on their jobs while this investigation is going on.
Yes.
So I think this
Yeah,
goes to
hang on. It's a good question. Mr. Dr. Bona, it is true, innit? You and I know that investigation starts because people may cover their tracks and everything. They are asked to leave their desk. They are asked to leave their computers, everything. Investigation begins. Why have these people not been, you know, asked to stay aside?
Okay, so Mansa Musa, you know, I said that the vice president has been indicted. The vice president is the chairman of the police council. These are police officers, still serving police officers. And if you know, you play back and you hear me say that these people should have been interdicted swiftly. Interdiction does not amount to dismissal. That will still be suspension.
Sorry about that. I think the gentleman who called, just like me, wasn't very attentive to that. Because if you made mention of
what
that,
I said
then,
was,
you know, yes.
They should immediately have been interdicted, which you can say suspended.
Yes.
Whilst a probe is constituted, and you remember I said that as a senior police officers, you have some privileges. You have a bodyguard who is armed. You have a police vehicle. You have radios. You have access to some logins.
Everything.
You have access to clean your truck.
Sure.
And so the first thing they should have done by now should have been to suspend them, as the caller actually said, interdict them.
Yes.
But like I'm saying, in a mafia republic, it's difficult sometimes. In Ghana, it's difficult to get things done the way it's done per the books. You know, per the books. This is just standard. This is just a textbook. This is textbook. You know, corporate governance. This is not even security. Textbook corporate governance. You are cited for something, some allegation. They tell you, okay, step aside whilst investigations are conducted. If you are cleared, you come back. If you are not cleared, the necessary sanctions apply. But unfortunately, it doesn't work so straightforward, you know, in Ghana, you know. So sometimes it's difficult for us to get these things done. For how long? This thing, the tape broke on Tuesday. I was expecting that the next day they do some quick and say, okay, you, COP, George Alex Mansa, it looks like, this looks like you, interdicted. Asari, Superintendent Asari, interdicted. Then once these things are done, maybe if you are cleared, you are cleared. If you are not cleared, but you will not have the opportunity to tamper with anything, because as we speak today, this evening, it is 7 o'clock, which I have to go. Yeah. But by now, you know, they still are wearing uniforms and doing what they have to do as police officers.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
I don't think that is correct.
Dr. Bona, I'll leave you. I know your schedule is everywhere. What we'll do is we'll find time to talk general, you know, political security. If there's anything
there is even an issue this evening where the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is claiming, the chief director is claiming, I'm sure when you go on the internet, you see it, is claiming that they have engaged land guards. They have engaged land guards to protect government land. So these are issues that, so you see, things are not the way we would want as a country. Meanwhile, we have a land vigilantism and other related offences act. And so, but like I'm saying, there are several of these things.
Look, why is this happening? Why have we allowed this group of people to turn the country upside down, inside out? Why?
Oh, I don't want to believe, I don't want to say a group of people. No, I don't want to go there. What I want to say is that things must be done right. I don't want to say a group of people. I believe that the country belongs to all of us. And respectfully, I would want to say things must be done to suit all of us.
Yes.
The way things are being done at the moment, for me, is wrong.
See, it's not your fault. I mean, I'm not going to push you to say anything, you know, for your own sake and everything. But the point I'm trying to say is that we had a certain standard. It wasn't adequate. It wasn't perfect. Prior to 2017, we had a certain way of how things were going. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't good. But how come we've fallen way beyond even that mediocrity? And that it is, it's only the fault of the people. I'm saying the group of people. It's true. It's a group of people who have taken the country and they have sent us back.
Well, I'm sure we would have this conversation another time. I need to run.
Listen,
Mansa Musa.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mansa Musa.
Yusuf.
Yes, NFM Radio.
As I said, Emudaho. Sorry about that to Adam, because honestly speaking, I know Adam. You have a lot to say, which makes a lot of sense. You are very capable. You are very matured about these things. So I didn't want to hold this guy who I begged this afternoon. I just called him this afternoon that let's talk about this, and he came.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to bother him too much. That's why, Adam, if you are listening, I said he should hang on. I just wanted one question to him anyway. So Yusuf, what's up?
Yeah, everything is cool. So when you look at, he made quite some good points regarding history and coup d'etats and why they occurred. It's all happened when it comes to a point whereby Ghanaians are fed up and there is chaos. Then somebody will jump in. But I want to say that already, Mansa, the country is in chaos because, all the double standards that the current president is playing, selective justice system, whereby the justice, applies to some individuals and do not apply to others, it has actually led the country into, we're already in chaos. And it's right about time that I think someone should stop this president. That's all I can say.
All right. I think, as they say, that is an understatement, big time. For Ghanaians to try to let him know that he's misgoverning is, this should have happened long ago, but we are still here anyway. Listen, I'll thank you. I now have to go to Accra to call another, this time a politician from the PPP to come and discuss issues with us. So just keep listening. And if and when you feel like coming in, you can come in anytime and I will surely welcome you. Thank you very much, Yusuf.
Thank you.
Right. So, like I told Yusuf, keep listening. When you feel you have to come in, please ring and I will let you in. You are listening to Mansa Musa. The program is Fire Will Burn You. It's just metaphorical. No fire is burning here, but if you come, you don't talk properly, of course, the fire will burn you.
NFM Radio.
So now let's go back to Accra and speak to Mr. Felix Mante of the PPP. Hello, good evening, Mr. Mante. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother Mansa Musa.
Now, what you come on? Na bibi yet said the out aeroplane mushi bi san. Ghana for this.
Your Ghana crowd when you say network now the sunny and so tono. You will
Anyway, you be in a crack. Me nkwana mitumi kasa ansem semono. Mo no mamu nka bi. Em se me ne ka bi tell up any to me kasa ansem no. The connecting country. The connecting country. You see, right? Listen, you see, police we are coding kokonsa. I'm saying, would you mean Adam Bona? Me and pay Casa or Casa or radios near the ring. The only side the parliament in India is Okaso. The president has nothing to say to this, and she shouldn't. In a way, trying to hold brief for the president going through as usual on such a case. Let's start from that angle. How has the behavior or the actions of the executive or the security investigative bodies of our government, So far, how have they reacted? Is it to your satisfaction?
Mami share what here for any union more UK. Nami share Progressive People's Party chita for you. Mansa Musa, the point must be made clear to Obibi Biara OTA and you may say the first person to have or first group to have commented on the audio the government. The government in Nankasa say kind this statement about him. Son said any outfit right at the doorstep of the government and as we see. And the second organization to have commented the security agency itself, the police hierarchy. The police administration should have come out to make a statement, solid one, for us to know, say, am I ready to build trust among the public? Sans any akoso no kwanya for say beji wo moditi and wo munni so betumi aye human assess in the coming election no eno na edi fi akano. And then other interest groups, that is oversight bodies, and Nubina Parliament, INO. So Parliament Cradie and can need the first agency. And we can also have constitutionally mandated institutions to say SRAJ, to say NCC and all those interest groups, and then maybe Peace Council and National House of Chiefs. They should all come in this matter. So be adding no ebetum be no beka. Name who say what is going on is not good for our democracy. It threatens the stability of the state and the people involved. The necessary action should be taken against them. And so maybe a political parties cry no about say but what are we dealing over here? Near the president and the government will fail to comment because the constitution are making everything political for the president, and the president is clearly walking backward. And so what we have now, he was being charitable because more or less he wanted to speak theory. And Mansa Musa, we are scholars also in the security sector. I'm also a scholar, but I have political ideologies as well. And when it comes to this matter, we marry the two. Near your client, you'll be able to solve this issue na abua. Theoretically, a threatening security architecture, especially the police, because and not the police alone, the military also included, because in the audio, the gossipers can say the IGP is not in good terms with the military, and it assign the military or to the armed forces as well. And the two institutions work collaboratively to provide adequate security for the people of Ghana.
Sure.
So your institution, the head of that institution, the security agency, is not in good terms with the sister. That where are we as a people? Yeah, dance we a negu abonti. Yamenkwa afofie oyene enya mametoye. No yene enya metoye na say some information ya ba out. That is where we are saying say the people that institutions and organizations, the groups that matter should step in. Then they do Article 201. The president cannot do anything because the institution that the security agencies has been politicized, especially the police. Article 201 emphasizes the Security Council. And the Security Council will share the members on the Security Council. Your political element appointed by the president invariably. or apparently, with the exception of the lawyer from the Ghana Bar Association, and even that is the only thing, because the other two members of the police service are appointed by the president. You get it? The other two members are to be appointed by the president. And you know, Mansa Musa, we should make the point clear. Say, the security agency, the police, is political entity. Well, the council, the IGP, is political group, fully political. And son of president, normally, appointed the IGP. So it tells you clearly, say, the IGP must have a political color before Omodino as to say Omra Meye an IGP. But unfortunately for us, any IGP and a conscience and say on a right say or say he wanted to send a security that is for the people, a service for the people, but not a security for a regime, which we will say regime security instead of state security. Only a problem. And only a problem. No other people will fight him than on one for no Juma, almost a war party, no extra political color. That is where all this stuff is coming out. And then, because of, say, security police council, no IGP, no one account political color, appointments to senior positions is politically colored. Recruitment into the police service itself and other security agencies itself, we are all witnesses to this having politically colored. So at the end of the day, say recruit will be the police service and any other security agency. Or a politically exposed person or a politically colored that nothing yet didn't call or police in my Juma Beno, and your politics a Juma no way. And your party Juma and party building no way. And you say, okay, party building. Now, the expectation, the party expectation is a year. Definitely, you will do that. If you start to do that, will become a war between the now, as I said, or they might Ghana for. That aside, they've been more that, and then no IGP will be able to rig an election and blah 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 blah. Let us all take time and read the whole of Article 203, 202, and then 203, especially 203. Now, we with the functions of the Inspector General of Police, and together with the Police Council. Mansa, Medical Police Council, no, I am politically colored, with the exception of two layers. A lawyer from the Ghana Bar Association. One, all others are political. And the IGP, are political. Now, what are the functions of the police IGP now? Or a head of police service and subject to the particular constitutional provision, or you're responsible to say, or making sure that or the operations. For security operations in United States. Now, rigging of election begins from time I hear framework, ababaye registration, ababaye election, ababaye counting, ababaye declaration, and then yakeka kahunyina. Now, Mansa Musa say, yes, between the security agencies, abuwa to rig an election. If the election management body a framework, CIB, it favors one particular party, not a standard. The police IGP must put in place strategies, operational strategies, or they be making sure obey enforcers are This is the moment that law stands. The IGP's function has been mandated as a sort of
Well, in that respect, in India, sir, yeah, the Embrana ko Parliament aja tomorrow. Obibeka said the IGP's position is compromised, but you cannot blame the IGP because it is coming. It's coming. You know, and yes, and yeah, executive no, and a debra name the country name Rano and a deba. So that in that respect, you know, for holiday, I wouldn't want to blame. You know, in Sebia, si Ashishem Brana say IGP ne diswa fine. Because on your no dim brand call parliament say was me pay and as Adam pesa me yet. Dana call as he or say look more beyond for a tuumba hoy. Omonka say police bibia coming. So it turned out that the IGP cannot be political after all. After all, the president or didn't see so no one shada and go bibia mano. Ain't it is actually individuals America me ye follow America for the same president, you know, ultimately your friend saying almost chief kind of say your friend say chief justice and I said top security be almost selected, but when these people are selected they still do their job properly. It's up to the people who have the jobs to do them properly, isn't it?
Mansa Mamenchira wa baby. One Adam Bona Casano. No practical examples. Say Yawamra, you say Abia Obi Ako Liki tape will be into Yedinaka Kujina court and Yedina some rano.
Yeah.
How is the application of that law like? And right here they for example for Aqua Kujina court. And your police for an investigation of the coin.
Yes.
In your police yard. Are they change Ashanti regional minister equate the same similar the same similar offense audio. Say the same law exists, Neboa. Now listen, normal. Me can catch yourself and say institution na police na say babontin ever be issue a statement on it.
Yes, yeah, that one.
Dr. Pam, a random funny crazy. Watch me. Yeah, the Nakwa Jina court to say treason of a soul to a Bible. What the way to Dr. Pam, the no and Mara for treason, you know, and yeah, you man, so please, no, you and so the law will be whether it favors one party or it doesn't favor another party. The police can say on be you when the aton chain now fee near Ubia person or year to rig the election or no rig it. That is where Rebecca said the IGP has aided in the rigging of the election. That is the argument. And in terms of IGP are all for rule of law. Say who are in sector or security sector security sector reform one cardinal principle of the security sector reform is the application of the law equally by all by the security agencies.
Yes.
And it is in the security sector they can be a threat to the citizens themselves. Security agency will become a security threat. They will become a source of insecurity to the people. Because in the maybe a source of now rule of law. We wanted a transparent and accountable security sector that applies the rule of law equally to everybody. Now, in the security sector, I say we're transparent and accountable. Meanwhile, when it comes to rule of law, which is the application of the law by everybody to equally to everybody, no, acquire another matter altogether.
So
that is where
baby, I didn't come on. I to say we are jumping into, I to say in a general manner how to discuss constitution, how the police behave. Yembra on this particular topic said police top hierarchy. allegedly has gone to sit down somewhere to make these utterances. They are very incendiaries, dangerous in some of the kind, you know, and would tear any Adam Bonan so much tear full tape near the idea. Just he has made a lot of dangerous comments. Anybody's book, is serious. Yen jina sa asem way so far no senia abino any ye chrome agencies a handle case who is saying
very poor with the exception of a parliament. Very, very poor. It's like almost any ignorance. A boomani egusum per se. But what is the interior minister kind? You heard it.
Honestly, said the next day, no, I said, then, okay, so there's no cause for alarm, visa. I remember.
Yes, but we cannot just sweep it under the carpet just like that. No. You are the security head, you are the executive arm of the security management body. That is the interior ministry. And so, when our security policies, any operations, are they when you know the security agencies apply, especially the police, the interior security of the state. And this serious matter, which I think to be corporate, be inspector, be, and now say be assistant superintendent, be a cocky cat answer way. And Mansa I am funny serious be out. And can look they will be dealt with. But senior police officer. Or one network, or one so line it to one. Now, all plot such a scheme against the boss, such a scheme against the boss. So nobody has asked him to resign, and he's still at the post. Nobody has asked say, "Oh, yeah, be I entered it." And now, so one can say, "Hey, admit it." But and yet, if I'm a boss, won't resign it? Mansa Musa, who are brought to UK. It was so and say UK police, lending police, and a head and a senior officer woman, and what yes idea we leaky a wire, and a leaky even police communication crumbles will be leaky babon here, will be resigned.
Of course. Now, the awo can be maybe awo can see, but the woman is saying, Abaya Kasa, the head of Abaya president, it is an indictment against them because Obiba or police in Penny because they want to plan to rig election on behalf of your party. I thought the government should be the first, and as a president, and then we should be the first people to say, hey. This is a disgrace. This is not what we want. This, it will tarnish our image. Now they are even to the world audience. Now they are there. It's not right. So investigation should start immediately. You see, now come where you are from, and so now where the other way around, they say, are binding in Crawford initially, they are not even asking for investigations. It's not right, is it?
Mansa, but who said? They are not interested in your course. Who said scheme now?
Ghana for United.
I buying any no support now endorsing it, and they've said nothing, and they cannot say anything because I gave you the genesis and the foundations of why they cannot do it. Because anybody that is appointed as an IG, supposedly, they want the person to wear political color. That's what they people. And if perceive the current one no political, they endorse it. And so the silence of the government tells you they endorse it. And they agree and they but who they only it's okay, so you are not in the field. We talk with some of them, their party people. And they complain, indeed. They complain. They want the IGP, and the IGP will not budge. the IG will not budge. So if the IG will not budge there, then the entirety of the party stands against him. Forget about the media concerns or IGBN will be strategic. They just want to play it to the gallery like Obi and Fan serious. It's a serious matter within their circles. It is a serious matter, but unfortunately, a leaky. And I know that any buyer also. We need to clean the police system. And let us commend the IGP if indeed he has positioned himself, say, obey the bidding of the state and not the bidding of any political party here. Now I stand firm without with or without any interference, more but with no fear or favor. Now only to protect the sanctity of our democracy, to protect our elections, to protect the security of the state.
Politics but say even conservative they will not even and he say the prime minister should say it. No, they will not protect him. They won't protect, nobody will protect the prime minister. Say, I have to say you don't know, just say, oh yeah, I have to say unique president here, unique be. And this one is not only all president. Kufado Pebre, and I quite to say in Kanasem, it's wrong. And mano kosu basasano. But what yeah, young queen na other politics. What do you make of a 2-tier rules for national anthem? Apparently, there's some national anthem for Gamanche, then another rule for another daughter. Who is saying?
Mansa, Matthew chapter 5, I think verse 7.
Matthew crowd point, you must Matthew crowd point, you must walk down, wabre, and a mobile bonny. Anyway,
okay. I say, you hypocrites, Nyachomfo. You imply a dawaniso. And son won't not there. What you have kuya baba, a daw yonko, and so. That is exactly what Nanado did on the occasion. Implying by way than an issue. Name no him pon I was a bon national anthem one sorry no no di ohun we enya se wan sorry wo sorry wo gina ne hope
now when who no tio you fan say what the fan say ne ba enti on to me carry are you surprised up to now and kakrobia me say any parliament any jurisdiction papa bia there will be a statement from the president. So the presidency do apologize, blah 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 blah. Unfortunately, blah 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 blah. The whoever caused that problem is being reprimanded, blah blah blah. As some did not call. Are you surprised that you say he
Mansa? Now, President, he was supposed to say, "Thank God." Why never can? They are worshiping the president as a thank God. Meanwhile, he's a chief servant, as I say, but they are worshiping him. And you know, you will become cruel. And what is happening? And me can ya kosi say, you can't pour ya basha bonnet, ya kasa kosu, ya smart of friend, and now we can President Nana Akufo-Addo, Sanwachi, abasha bonnet on one way she am. You will come and say, and MPP form more bemu a bonnet corruption form who President Beckley. Have you forgotten? But the opposition, proper evidence, you are chasing on them. So it tells you who the president is and his posture to some of these things. He doesn't care. And yes, I want to mean but he doesn't care talking about his daughters and the people who are close to him. All that he cares is who in the cycles more. He will deal with you the way he wants you to be dealt with. So please don't be surprised at all. Don't be surprised at all. They say is it 2 less bad, 4 less good, or what? That's exactly what is playing out. An animal farm. Next man come in say, ya can a mamre money, I can't cast him. You see, I buy a debot, you know, ya the bob bar, a ye. What the forest land and forestry minister, no in Jan in chain. At the time, I ban a year corner, I have national anthem. Then one country, forest minister, and say, on country, the band so jack corner, a brand national anthem. But he kept quiet as if he didn't see anything, he didn't hear anything, while the person was standing close by to him. And it tells you about Shabonia. Oma from my, I say, one castle Japadia, into the young person who hear what my no, a mad Eddie Nipabi, one of the Emra in you. But Minia, power is transient. The betu, if you be so, I could see you be so. And we don't want to set precedents or China so be yawa because I don't know forget and say what and I was here. And so if I were close to the president, I would tell him in the face, say his office should issue a statement on this. And unfortunately, maybe information I mean I say an area where film 30th anniversary celebration. I say if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know. That's the information I got. 30th anniversary, I say, any national anthem. Is it a national barrier? Is the person now who 30 years ago no or a national person? And I say we should be careful with some of these things and know how we are handling the state. The state, Nanado will not go with it. In the next 1 year, 4 months or 6 months, he will leave, he will go as an ex-president, he will become ordinary like me and you. And we should stop worshipping him as a king god. We should speak truth to power. No one say,
so far people are not doing. Let's push into other issues. Now, the first one, the NPP4 flag bearer race and contest. Almost I think 10 of them or so will be a pretty change. Now me Mansa Musa I don't know. Is it change from what to what? Exactly what do you make of it? Ghana for apart from die-hard MPP form the Albe can be I say upon crowd the MPP at Tarisha Metwaman Sancrophone we don't have any more time. But as Ghanaians, you know, what are you making about their comments or their message so far? Say they are, preaching change. Change from what to what?
Mansa, say who say Sebi or Cromfona, ube person oba kofana down for.
Ah well.
You didn't come on you man.
Ah well.
Yeah, cause there be near queen.
Me kasa na Madam Fubia na me wo flasters or no tinima. Na oyense money ama say chese untumi so mpono untumi nka say onfa na asem free onko because ni nuanom betumi abehaw enti question ni de me nden me see I hear you akwemi no ka so we gwangs de for the first time as Musa gwangs de
obi di yanti mo person ode ne hu assist ode ne hu bo niam enye hu obi bi any go and know exactly na aspirants ni nyina no they've all realized say na Mansa Musa nti yemfa ne some person mo de ho associated with the policies are ban way no mo change are they going to say Montoma me na say Montoma na be MPP Flabera I will continue Ghana at the IMF. Would that be a good thing?
But then the message say and also be a cynical message because I dey who can say change obi say mu kan bi enti change just say ye change
and I make us all you know who said ni akona ankoye amwa won abamu no ankoye so ankoye dia what do we do? We cannot associate ourselves with the bad things that has happened. Peace Index, Corruption Perception Index, they are all not good. So the only thing they can say is say, "Muntu mami na meba me fight corruption, me have good records," and that is a change. Nobody will say, when I come, I will make sure our corruption perception index will be maintained at where we are now. Planting for food, not even one single policy of the current administration is any of them preaching say no my no my not one. Is it Akuto say planting for food and jobs? When have you heard him saying say planting for food and jobs or bar or any year? And I say I year could do until me bar me the say bar account. So they don't have a message. They cannot preach to Ghanaians say, they are only driving the agenda say, Ghanaians, we have failed, and that there must be a change. And that change, that's why you can say the PPP is the alternative. So let Ghanaians understand that. Let Ghanaians know that. And drift towards the Progressive People's Party. When I want diaspora, they should support the cause of the PPP.
All right. The last issue after number me contributors so France so UK and it said me busa one of your penny for privately to me bonny but I me say now momo come say there should be alternative the third rich as they said in your friend said Hitler's Germany the third rich was a real just a more alternative na mufu se Ghana for here because you feel they both parties have somehow exhausted our sympathy, our trust, and our everything. Right. If that is it, Matisiti said your efforts to merge or to bring other like-minded groups together, that one too has failed. If it's true, then you people are not going to make any headway.
Mansa Musa, we don't need a merger or alliance or whatever to bring a change. It takes one person to initiate a revolution and your support. All we need as the alternative, a good leader, somebody who can take up the baton. Dr. Papasindum, a level and run with it and push the agenda of the alternative. Now, your policy on environment to make sure say Galamsey you solve it. Your policy on the economy to make sure say your inflation they are about single digits. Let's say 5% inflation rate. The exchange rates have performed about let's say 2 cedis to $1. Unemployment free 15% about somewhere to send here what you can now.
As for inflation rate now that there me compare number boom with about boom say hey we don't control our economy. So in one day ABI say IMF want a control BBI and that one will be sorted out. But what kind of employment? How let me ask you, how are you going to bring the employment inside the between Busau? How are you going to do that? Employment,
How are we going to create employment for Ghanaians?
Yes.
Yeah, Mansa, thank you. When I say all the developed world, the industrialization are transforming our economy. Yeah, you see, one this one for true. It is about establishing industrial estates. Who be industrial estates are private investors. Now all the resources, any Niama, Edibeba, Abe establishing businesses in or areas now establish one as industrial estates in all districts or all regions or identified locations are Yebenya raw materials, they are here industries now. Industries will spring out. Someone will send you a free zone enclave here. So what wage LCC pay? When we send here, thousands of jobs have been created for the people over there. And the people are working, they get their everyday livelihood. So that is what the Progressive People's Party is preaching for us to do. 2, For industries to spring up, you cannot let interest rate be at 42, 50, 35, 40, 45%. No 1% businesses, ebenya capital there, juma. Abai are crowded out the capital market and then the financial market. Ajisikani yine free system no no they are open or chedi. We are saying say let the business, the individual in the society have access to credit. Now entrepreneurs, any cheaper credit, interest rate at let's say 5%, 2% on the money on the businesses. Reduce taxes, and every reduction in a tax creates job for somebody. Then depend to me invest it. And then say obia ne can say ne capital or no and ne disposable income or one eroded. Nobody has investment capital or disposable capital money or the kwako before for ABA Juma movie. It is not happening. So you use that opportunity to get sure that people have disposable money to invest and create jobs for people to work. Apart from that, we create the market, and we are saying government will use its purchasing power. Say yeah, production, not marketing. The production will not progress. And businesses and the government uses its purchasing power. Government is the major consumer of goods and services in Ghana.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Ghanaian businesses do not have markets, but Ghana government has created a market for foreign businesses.
Now, sir, I know since the structure adjustment program, it wasn't only in Ghana. I mean, almost all the whole of the African continent. So we ended up being importers of cheap goods from everywhere. But let me ask you, look, I have one say, okay, you didn't even mention banking. One of the, okay, fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
And you make fat credit home for businesses. We are about banking sector. Every you can say country, the financial sector no, any stable, any weak to say ye. Now a buying and then governor, story that country cannot survive. Banks are the fuel.
I'm saying I jumped the gun a bit. Let me feel certain now best time because with your former leader being a proper investment banker of a certain level, no, like I'm feel certain because so the banking, proper banking systems, if you society more, you go astray, completely destroyed. Anyway, but what's not tough for mine now? Because later on I said we confer Jan Twaso and I'm a woman crop for so studio handy. Yeah,
baby Bruno, here a good political party or good policies to say Progressive People's Party. Policies on environment, policies on banking, policies on jobs, policies on education, policies on infrastructure, policies on health, policies on social services, policies on security, and all the policies that we need, foreign policy. And minor na Ghana for what toy. Yes, Ghana, Progressive People's Party, one time we will change the Ghanaian society. Not second class, but will be part of the first class societies that we have. Now, everybody will be rewarded adequately, including Sawun near Jumaya, Tisania, Aboriginal near Jumaya, Utuminia unemployment benefit, which is Ubenia Jumano. And they provide social services to provide unemployment benefits for people.
Right. It looks like we are losing Mr.
This is the time to turn the tide.
Mr. Mante, you got to stand somewhere proper. So, Obisu na efre dia. There's so much we can do about this. Hello. 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 Mr. Mante.
But
phone take quick. A friend is sum it up for us. I mean, run it up my.
Yeah, Mr. Nyameka yes, baby, I have Ghana for and shift focus to the alternative political party, a progressive People's Party.
Okay.
When I was broaching, I'm support to you course because all the best policies are you bet to me the alibrate on my way. Now yen to me and that is what is we need now as a people, and not kasa keke bebre. That is what we are telling you.
I see. It is the same one way see. Wouldn't mean Kasa me so because one major policy and one big one went to me and come make me feel senka as Obipa Oti Africa there that to be the first. Make me feel say any government or say big agric policy, massive. And right, me ready BB.
Mansa.
I mean ready BB now. And then I'm ready and manage kakra.
Mansa.
What him say? Yeah, almost two abama tinibu. Na many engine who say near fee na kokra no be but I'm saying the starting point many yaje because almost about 10,000 acres of land ama young people just to farm, and that is a big deal. Entimanti agric bakukra on common, which is a shame.
Mansa Musa.
Yes.
See me. Make an industrial revolution. I able to see raw materials near the I transforming the economy. Make a reduction of taxes and making capital credit available to entrepreneurs at cheaper interest rates. No more to me about making sure make a infrastructure development policy. Yes, you be making sure say all the 19 national highways.
You got to bring this in on paper, and now we will go through it. Since they said we need everything printed. Then so we can scrutinize it.
Maybe over agriculture. Agriculture is the raw material base of industrial way. With the exception of the natural resources now, and agriculture. We are saying, say, you be provide the agricultural subsidy. Agricultural subsidy, normally and that is a
NFM Radio.
Agricultural policy. I had one village, one dam, and then planting for food and jobs. That is not a policy.
But no. Well, to be fair to them, it is a policy. It was badly run. It's a policy. I mean, to say, they wasted a lot of. They have spent lots of money. It's a policy, but it has been properly. I mean, wrongly implemented. You to me, Tranka said it wasn't a policy. Honestly.
Obiaba, or invest into agriculture.
Yes.
And it's the normal thing, and no government be abaye. Normally, and you have some to need in, agriculture, one to need in, planting for food and jobs. That's not a policy. Go and check agricultural policies. Not just planting for food and
well, almost two need interest in your policy. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't do it. But that doesn't mean it's a policy. If they had done it properly, and can for Mbaba obe any American benye jumaye enye sika. But
did you see the blueprint for planting for food and jobs?
Well, that doesn't mean it's not a policy. They didn't look. Free education. They don't have any blueprint, but it's a policy. Anything
Mansa Musa, planting for food and jobs does not exist in agricultural policies. Go and read agric theories, and you will see what I'm talking about. A normal investment on the agricultural sector. If you want to do real
Tinubu turn over hundreds of thousands of acres. Friend, is it food for masses? BBB Samudi date so. It is a policy to get the youth into serious agriculture. But
is that what Planting for Food and Jobs did?
Well, look, the policy itself is there. They didn't implement it.
No, Mansa, you are arguing. Planting for Food and Jobs is a policy.
So what?
It is only a program. It's not a policy.
Fair enough. All right.
Okay. It is a program.
Okay. Everybody will argue over everybody's distance, but some program now. So we say a program. Some year it would have worked. They didn't. They wasted money and they couldn't do anything.
The program no do slogan also. So the Ankasa one say Tinubu no. You know say acres of land.
Yeah, in any case, I will agree with you. I will agree with say a program, but a part of a bigger policy, because when you talk about one village, one dam and those things, and that warehousing and all those things, it would have combined nicely and could have, start the country for somewhere. Anyway, there are kind of Matthias here.
You fail.
Failed anyway. Listen,
Planting for Food and Jobs. One village, one dam. Any whatever a camel, railing for whatever. What can one concrete policy on agriculture?
Yeah.
A 10 minutes of agriculture. And that way we look at it, we design a blueprint for it. Now the programs the woman the outcome. At the end of the day, can you evaluate what they did?
Mr. Mate, you better was it. Look, PPP, but you better frame you now, didn't come ye. And send me call other group so. Now we are Mr. Kwakra here, Mr. Jantwa, or no CPP ni, na ono so dine de a brain, enti nwumbre, and last ni na ya wedia.
Mr. Wase papa.
Bye bye. Right, so without much ado, let me go on the phones because right here I think two of them here. Question about first before Mr. What is his name? Before Yusuf. So the two of you, okay, I think Yusuf is gone anyway. Kwesi, good evening.
Good evening, Mansa Musa.
Na umuyede.
Nyamina dumo, nakra.
Right, I'm sitting somewhere minding my business. If you come, wait till you want.
NFM Radio.
Okay, Professor Lumumba Kasembi. Professor Lumumba, Ofi Kenya na
Ofi ho baby, I'm fast or African.
I think Tanzania or Kenya move back.
Oh baby, yeah.
Okay, Kasembi, I say, Nipa Ofi, why are DB now spend the hours explaining at the corona? Let's just say you haven't done anything. It's you pay your kasai. So we so we could policies. Papa bida komwa ye you mutumi trauma Ghana for no one trouble more. Anyway, I mean Jano.
Listen, PPP is a big progressive party. If you don't know, PPP, People's Progressive Party, a big party. So don't make fun of them.
I'm not making fun of them.
You are.
The whole thing is.
I will tell their leader. She's called Bridget, and she will deal with you.
Oh. Papa Kusindu,
Oh dear, Kwesi. This is below the belt.
It's not below the belt. I didn't say no crow or mama yanka. Oh. Nipa to Joe Monuma, I'm saying before Nankasi a penko from Joe Monu, ye did Kasaka, Saka. What didn't a Kufado and Baumia say? I don't know, Manka. Mansa Musa. Again, the answer says, Uncle, we can platforms to so, but we mere mount a Yakan example, a series of on economy, our economy. And yes, say money I do. Being a year of vice president, I don't know yet. So done. Anyway, topic and that now can a BB sa nkomobi nkofun kodi no kokwemu a esun a
oh yeah the leak tape no
na di ba bi am pese ye de be yi kakra na nkofu ye nuanu bi so aye yi nkofun kodi esun ase nkomobi any leak tape no esun ase nkomobi am pese wo di oman Ghana bone epie no Mansa Musa edi kan kofu bi kika so NDC fo first no ye o aye kufu ado fa dampare no ye say ye fe di support no NDC support to dampare yes ye support to dampare yo a principled position NDC fire principled position is say yema ye institutions no omunye adwuma asana democracy kamami kebina minke bi adwuma ebeye adwuma no ejejina pillars bi so ejejina pillars bi so pillars no say ye weaker democracy will never work. Mansa Musa me ka bibi akiro before Obama ba Ghana no na Professor Mills win election they came here may he so rest in peace. Never know Woyo national chairman. You share no somewhere in Elephant and Castle or Kansas say NDC is going to make our institutions work, make our democracy work, and therefore we have to make our institutions work. And San Obama or Kansas. It is institutions and yejuma democracy and yejuma. It is principal position NDC take say fence and dampare. Yes, no correct. Say NDC fully be can say dampare or MPP ni whatever. Every chair's office no occupy no.
NFM Radio.
Or ye maybe if he say I don't know me dovetail or me dovetail into a young or focus IGP into me influence elections. Because yambra no constitution no police for na bo ye koto aba o mo no mo bo ho ban soldier for enim soldier for crap person mo IGP ansa na mo abem IGP ma mo kwan a ansa na mo abem any security apparatus on person IGP na be ma mo kwan ansa na o mo abem it is obi be gina o ka say IGP entering influence the rigging of an election. About to review ma menene yadwin. It won't papa no Adam Bonakasa na no more play around it. You know, put you a question. I was happy.
No, all along the Métis or Ghana, they throw that comments about you cannot influence. It's not true. If they cannot, these people will not plan even anything. If they can, and they do,
can.
And it does happen all the time.
Yes. A year Juma, and he said, I didn't know example no man, and it just say IGP by or more argument. They don't want to do such a thing. But you will be to say little a peer yeti, your uncle Fubia, I drink Bonibis I word a I'll meet my side. Mansa Musa example I was West Wagon. A DNA MPP winning eventually. A DNA MPP winning
because of the security apparatus a war
exactly. So we a party chairman no koku. So we supporters ya bomutio me ebi omo nan dompemu ayi egufom ufi egufom a omo nye boni bia ya hwe nkofu bia abebo mu tuo eprepra o Mansa Musa me no ka stay ebi ni crutches a wontumi nante ebi wo ha ye twa omo nan ye twa enan no ye twa it is a party bi ko hu sa de we a o si tumi a ye paint no ye be koso na ye prepare ye nkofo na aye nti NDC e withdraw ye a form of rigging.
Of course.
A form of rigging. Nti na omo so mo security experts no mo keka za asem no Mansa Musa me security expert.
See, the point in that you if you call these people on phone, the disadvantage is that every time, when in Komono, if you want to engage them seriously, you're kind of I got to go. I got to go. No, the point is that they only said that they have to go. Because in some people can they say I put him right. Say, look, you said the guy. Well, he had an interview also, but the president, what has he got to say? He has nothing to say. Okay, because this case, some diplomats they have asked about it, and the diplomats maybe they are even talking in their enclaves because these things are dangerous. Now, president also knows the other only so can we. It's a no.
Oh, enti wo de me say wo nkofo na me yan snap me yan na yanko. Che we see I was West no. Rigging. No mu use security apparatus no me den the rigging.
Yes.
Because so be catch them say IGP into me here on na the whole elections security ni kutano. It is uncofo ko. No mo ko titio and let's can nkofo na turn out here lower. Mo create official low turn outer. I am rigging.
A part of rigging. Yeah.
Exactly. And you should be you don't want catch them say sad name to me happy. Me dream one and think see, Ghana, you in from expert in security, expert in elections, expert in governance. Omo number seven kwasi asami kwa no mbekika.
Kwesi, this words you use, good.
Mati sign.
Okay, thank you.
Mansa Musa. I will say you who say. Sa aya was West Ogono. Unzo bi ka asem bi wo ho. Or sister idea were a precursor to 2020 elections.
Yes. Mikai.
In the 2020 elections, in a day, you see,
even double of people who were shot.
People were even killed.
Yes.
I also was Ogono. Nipa prepare. Yamiadum ebienwu. Na mum obi sebi. Okuta ne na mienu a no ona akoba. Epe aduane bread na busuane a ende ye twa ne nan baako ana ye twa mienu ebisu kuta clutches wanfa poma a ontumi nante ede na waye omo na oka say a precursor to 2020 elections na mpa 2020 elections ye koye no omu kum nipa Mansa Musa ye nipa 8 nkwa na wu yo ye ba be oka say ba be ayi Mansa beyifo no o say COVID time yen konkoye ayi ye kan say
registration
voter register wa bra ye kuta voter register and de kufu do bae omo claim so munya 1 million votes o di BT John Mahama inti den ebe masa nkofi akase sa voter register no omo mpe inti yen konkoye foforo in the midst of COVID yakoye ni na voter register ye no nu se hosu nkofu ye nkofu to mu ye ko restricted voter register
there's a mass gathering of people in you can't rule out your friend Sir John, Sir John, you can't rule it a mass gathering. You know.
Yes. It is so a security expert over the say IGP to me. I mean, what is all this? Mansa Musa, a dear crying.
That thing they worry you too much, but you don't worry. That's what you know.
Okay. Ode Martin, what can I say? Fire is what I mean. Nemu, yamma ye so-called experts in governance, security, local government. At the end, yamma who says sabi. Yen Jimmy you. Yen Yankwasiafu. Yansi Yankupo, again or boy or the two get to me, you will be. I may not be a security expert, but I have common sense. Your common sense.
No, because what you are saying, look, no, I mean, I can't argue with you at all. To say that a top security boss in any country, obviously, if you are talking about advanced countries, you know, they will allow certain things to be done. But in our states, our case in the day, they can influence the outcome of elections. And for anyone to make, I understand why you are riled, you are very angry. Yes, for anyone to say otherwise, you know, it's not right. It's not right.
Mansa Musa, especially under Obi a friend Ekufuado. Especially under Obi a friend Ekufuado. Mansa Musa, if you are no saying, there's a case here or court. Mami or better so as Chief Justice in an answer. A new judge. When you nuga, no can console D. A more or person, Obi who said when you nuga, Sabi, Jimmy Samuel was a court of honor. Or the court retirement, a new judge by so on share of new cases. So, new judge, and I say, hey, that case in some baby, intimidate person, me starting new case, new. It is allowed in the legal system. And I also Attorney General you go for Damia why and who purpose. Okay, say it is at the discretion of the judge in my appointing. If it is a judge, you know, or the discretion, I said, if I say we start a new case now, I used to maintain my court appeals court. Only say. Or one MPP judges ready. A Kufado prepare already. Into and Mammy or buy also my transfer a new judge you know better a new case so my transfer because new judge in a say or insist of a source party case in a pressure.
So now you understand why I had a go at Inusa Fuseni.
Yes, because who new judge now, a attorney general, no. So if he say who could a strong case, you know, I dear my who say attorney general, no, on him say, put a strong case, and he say a whole attorney general, accused in a crime, no, witnesses, no, they are intact, they are there. But the whole attorney general could tell the powers of the state. So witness will be a bit me or say I can't locate my witnesses. That's what we say. A dear crowd happened to Ghana and the Kufado. Why? Okay, let me dovetail into a constitution, you know. Mansa Musa me ubi samia me yen DC ni pa mapan. Ubi me. Okay, say yes, it's some constitution. May no be again 100%. You will be a 1,000% crank coming over here. Because constitution, the whole practice there do baby. So yes, such like a crack a view. Some make a full so move be a fan fourth the amendment. Yes, sir.
Are you?
Yes, almost the same, almost a crack. A master, sir. Ekufuado and kwa be president. Well, Professor Mills, so or yes, actually, in such a view, the processes, no. processes na yen wie ne nkofo blame NDC omo nim se MPP fu na bi so na de assembly court and a story ayin na ma ayi domama wentumi ayi enwi process no because assembly court so twɛn no mu wie sa constitution no no kre o see one or two things to do. But adentina see no nkofo obi asore a constitution obi asore constitution because inipa na obe operate obe issue constitution na ye kan asem na ye kufu ado no wa abuse every part of the constitution. Meanwhile, the Rollins of the constitution is adwuma. Sa constitution na the Rollins be adwuma. Before the be adwuma. Mercy be adwuma. Na Mahama be adwuma. And the Kufuor Nkwano, there has been a massive force, a massive movement to the extent that this young man no any PhD in laws or whatever in a Ukraino. They say, I don't know, a shell of Mamano could treat TV. Okudu Ghana. Obaka say Jesus Christ Ukraino, all no conspire with him Kofunia Kobona syndrome. Shakwa Mufasu. Shakwa Mufasu, Oliver Baka Woma War. Shakwa Mufasu. Asem okan say constitution no yensesa ayi no na nkofo etisu ayi wudi fo mo ya kronfo Mansa Musa de ne yehu ekufu ado watiti constitution na de hadwini wo mu say Mansa Musa ekufu ado so o hwe ayi NDC produce 3 presidents. It's only Atamezu na a lawyer wo mu. Rollins was a soldier. Your mama on your lawyer. MPP Kufuor is a lawyer. A Kufuor. On put it, you can't once in a lawyer, who been done. And so that time, and the constitution, my bill, Rollins, bills on yet, so I said, you may be brave. Into obi a lawyer o claim so a human rights activist or a rule of law champion on the time no. And now there's a massive push for overhaul of the democracy constitution kwa yanto nchire nyanchiro foforo. Mansa Musa sankofo no so kra me no mo nya adwene uni bibi constitution bia no e nipa na chiro. There will be flaws. Who are you be ba? Na ukonya obi anipa boni ni because it is the American nkofu your president's be constitution we are kuria ya adwumo ekufa do nko time and that adene issue tina no agi atu. The same thing, no, addiction is now or something. And then I'm saying, a little over a month ago, a Kufuor also acquired a greening gun was a DNA HSC could be in India. Ironically, a Kufuor could be in India. Meanwhile, only the party pumping in the Galamsey. Program nase on hinibi entuma sorry. Papeti a cheaper a Kufuor to in the distance. So papa sorry. Not a president. Mansa Musa, Usha Papa na own. Ubi a foreign affairs minister before. Ubi a attorney general before. And son of a president. Na inipemu ote ho otu onsa benkum otu nimfa o da ayi the way or that minister, it was so disrespectful in public. What happened to his diplomacy or a foreign affairs ministry? I didn't see how. Young fellows know Nimpra or Ukoha, you be coach you. You will state a form coach you. And then Kukushia or to Tunisa or to Tunisa. I don't understand. Just a little over a month ago, and assassin in the sea. Also, West a 1 million. Sunny and you read the report, you know, or you see 1 million a day and then sent to house. Ama Neribia, Nero, the first wife who we 30 years ago. And the crown and some attitude, a fat new one who crown at time. Wako kusi ayi amano nti ko bia no Mansa Musa sadia no a national program or a private program.
Misha a state protocol for maybe Saomo.
Yes, Pebina Misano. Would they just a 5 minutes interview krana and a 3 minutes interview? Pebina Bisaomo. Say president, the former a wife or a baby. Why BB also the channel you know could be a private and a state to the extent to say or quite a national anthem.
And yes, state function until there was no need for any national anthem, but the Ekufu I don't know. It's an albatross. Ghana for no.
Papa no constitution were breaching. It is a was sent what they are too formatted. So I want to kindness and was say Ghana. Sa Ekufu do not take one. Now, the second thing is that a national issue, a national one. It's more national anthem. Tree planting, a fat or money now. Was a mucha India, Eddie Bear 100 years ago, no more galamsino. I feel could be India ever started from one day. Yes, now, maybe I'll coin and national, national anthem. Oba, wow. Next to you, your born national anthem, our phone kutan or casa. Me sure say Ekufu tea even casa because no next to ne papa no or tea casa. Ekufu ambawa.
Yes, sir. Are we ready to go?
Ekufu ambawa. It is same thing as an mbaya kofa a sebe nkofu bi ba ya ombeye ye seat of governance. A government, sorry, a seat of government, a video. The same seat of government, Ghana Fui Nara, a say, Dodo na, Minkasa Dodo na, Nkasa say, a dear fell Trumu Yampe. A Kufuado, who said, Kamala Harris, American Vice President, Obama, so Trumu, and so all Bano, or the Nikunu Bama, and a buyer. Na omude a tumu for a assurance to the policy a tutu ye state of maybe a man coma and in the soon share ye seat of government. Mansa Musa, a Kufuado will be on I say a banishing on the party on it Baumia because Baumia is a carbon copy of a Kufuado. Eba intro and da akushisam aye de danda Ghana for ayi say be issue a travel Mansa Musa say ni na ayi ba ko okika boma na obu ho a intro no nte ase ndada no te ase obu ho so akushisam on te ase intro no te ase aha nti akika. Yes, Martin Medase. Mansa Musa. It is especially almost good Ghana. You see, me bow, I remember asking there, but mammy just 30 seconds. Me pacho. I especially good Ghana, I'll throw more. Now, so more cancer, no more cano. Omo we am a buffucrano. Almost say, oh, mine, because in a way, no, as a papa, seven, some would, you know, almost support no. A kufa do tia constitution, so a year your pay. Black voter na a voter no so mo 30 voter na ye wie aso man ye wie ye bi biasa o mo taji black voter ye galamse wo so and na be move ade kogu ay akosombo ay dam ni reservoir no na ye wie o man say man ensa so na yankopon usi yankopon ma bi biara wa ma sea line wa ma inland fresh waters wamount a forest, wamount farmlands, wamount grass baby or sabi uko isrema, you trim the duania maybe to send Katiane, serious nenia manium, wamount be beer ran a 4 patterns, yankupon the amount. Sabi, when it comes to human a year, Ghana for Jenny, yet you may produce Biama by UN Secretary General. Your scientists for your academics. Na ni na unse kufu ado oba afoforo na nkopeso take hwe unse oyade bi na nkopeso oje plano no person ko je academics no enso freedom efi omun nsem so omun ntumi nkasa so obeka ya no the bill be ba no the bill be ba they say I'm fighting against that bill no more stop ya and ka professors are almost kasa to say jump money other other professors from more University of KNUST Northern Development University of Development Studies some professors here omutumi research is no almost be kasa komu ina ntumi kasa ekufuado oye devil oye beyifo obetno man so yentu no one ne MPP ne baumia no ma bebetna so no almost say oh mine no na yan say Mansa Musa who say young people be one day be I want to sit down with you you beka nyama baku and naya ekufu Dubai obedada youth no almost na sade na affect o monde ekufu adu oyebe fire na abene go from. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
It will well and truly burn you, fire. You are listening to Mansa Musa, 9:24 here in UK. It's 8:24 in Ghana. In about 6 minutes time, or say 5 minutes time, I will invite Mr. Kwame Jantwa. I think he's a member of the CPP for his comments on all what has happened in Ghana. If you have a message on Facebook, you can send it to me. If you have a message on WhatsApp, send it to me. And if you want to call me, you can call anytime. 0208-123-5911 and 00. Is it? Yeah, 00. It's 078-762-51261. Yeah, you may call me before we start my interview with Mr. Jantwa. Because when he comes, I want to finish with him. If you want to contribute to what you've heard, yeah, can you now person can be a NFM Radio. It is the Fire Will Burn You program coming to you from NFM Radio. Or see Emudaho.
NFM Radio, Emudaho.
Right, Kwesi.
Mansa Musa.
Akwaba.
Michio with you for Michia Aventia Kusi Okasa VCC. What for me?
Well, upon journey, I chair Apotro, or say, well.
Oh, Musa,
yes.
Manchester, rally towards togetherness for 2024. Then you expect to say Mansa Musa Baba. You sure when you
people don't give me official invite, did you? You even boy ignore me, you go and chop your show finisher. Now you come laugh at me as well.
No, Mansa Musa, what a submit a fracture, you to me Joe. I mean, the trend is moving. Nana Kufado the MPP, like Kwesi said, one time Masu, yet to me enjoy into yourself. So I'll be in one more invitation. I'm going to my direct invitation. Say, you know my capacity, Mansa Musa.
Okay, next time I will look for the invitation from your capacity.
Yes, you're going to even my invitation crowd. You're that's it, see, the chairman, your because you meet to catch it. I'm sure. Abakasa, Musa. And you read the BB on Kennedy, Japan. Or see, Baumia, this strategy in NASA. Also, I'm a president. I'm a strategy in order, Mr. Maestro, I'm Mr. What to Moja somewhere MPP. Yeah. Musa MPP, or say you catch on with the dead. They've done enough. The destruction of the country is enough, Musa. New Patriotic Party, the Galamsey, or their best say, Manu Musa, and it is so disheartening. So Ghanaians, yes, someone. What's your son? It is time we tell NPP political party in the Nakufadu that enough is enough. The destruction is now why you want money, why you ye. Sika don't kwan or what Galamsey. What say river water bodies na Musa? Why ye? Enough is enough. Yankupon or the assassin in my hand. He gave us the land for us to feed on. All the resources that was left on the ground, God intentionally made sure that the resources are on the ground there. They say you need mechanism. You need what you call strategy to pick the resources from the ground. Now, Kufadu, yes, sir. There resources on the ground. Why? You just one show. Yes, sir. Because you see now what first said, no,
NFM Radio.
What you farming, cocoa, planting near the nano, massa. In fact, Nana Akufo-Addo has been one of the worst presidents ever to happen in the Ghana history. It is very sad, Mansa Musa. Now, I want to tell all my NDC brothers and sisters and sympathizers. Yes, someone. A kuna order ye nimino, ye here in Kabum, ye here unity. No single person can fight what is before us, Mansa Musa. These people want to use the Galamsey money to fight NDC. And NDC should make sure they have the resolute, what it takes for them to fight back. 2024, Musa, the election must be won at the polling station. We are not interested in any court business. Nobody has any business to go to court, Mansa Musa. Election, polling station, wow. The best friend. All the parliamentary candidates that we have in place, they should start making sure that, look, there are plans in how to raise money, how to generate donations to support them so that we can fight the Galamsey money. Because these people are not ready to go, Musa. And now they all say, this is what they can provide for us, Mansa Musa. Mr. Mansa Musa, yes, sir. Next time, your program will be there. I will say to Mukoka Maminti, I'm going to more than me, I will do station will be. I will do it for you, Mr.
Okay, I hear.
I will do it for you.
You.
Now,
I'm going to go to Accra now.
Oh, go to Accra. Master say you are bringing Jan to Accra.
It be so. It be so.
Go and bring him. I have a question for him. So I will say I know my channel waba, but that's it, baby. Yeah, go and bring Jan to Accra. We are waiting to listen to Jan.
Okay, thank you too for your understanding. Right. Mr. Kwame Jantua, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Mr. Jantua, what is going on in Ghana? What exactly is
Hello?
going on? Hello, can you hear me? Mr. Jantua, can you hear me?
Yeah, better. You're breaking up before.
Okay. I'm saying, what exactly is happening in Ghana? To
What do you mean?
Our motherland. Okay, where do I start? We had a leaked tape, purportedly, voice belonging to a known police officer. I want to ask you the reaction of the government. I mean, the state institutions. Are you satisfied with the reactions so far?
When you say state institution, remember, good evening to your listeners. When you say state institutions, can you be specific?
Okay, perhaps because I've been, talking to a lot of people, but my mind is set up to mean maybe you've heard everything. But what I'm saying is, if it were in Britain, it will be a proper investigative body, an independent police body which will investigate what the country have heard, what was on the tape. Even if it was here, the police themselves, even their own CIDs can investigate to bring out the fact. The fact that it's almost a week and it has now fallen into the hands of Parliament to conduct an investigation. That's why I'm asking you. So far, are you satisfied with the reaction of the institutions of state with regards to investigations and the rest of it?
So let me start by going to the Constitution. And I start from the supremacy of the Constitution. And it says, and I quote, "The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. 2. This Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana, and any other law found to be inconsistent with any provision of the Constitution shall, to the extent to the inconsistency, be void." Now, the power of any head of state of this country resides in the people. And for me, for situations like this, I would even expect some kind of word from our president, but it hasn't happened. And so it has now gone to Parliament. And when this whole thing broke, the Interior Minister tried to make it sound as if it was nothing serious. Till it went into Parliament. And the opposition said, no, this thing has to be investigated. And I'll tell you, quite a lot of Ghanaians feel, yes, it has to be investigated. The government is saying nobody, through the Minister of Interior, has said Dampare should be sacked. But if you've even said that, within the police hierarchy itself, will they not institute a probe? Will they not go in conjunction with Parliament and find how they're going to handle this? And as some of us are concerned, if this probe is going to go on, because I understand Parliament are going to take members, put a committee in place, members of the opposition and the majority will go through this week, if I'm not mistaken. Don't you think the police service itself should investigate this? Because for me, reading the Constitution, anybody who wants to usurp the will of the people is treasonable. It's treasonable. Why would anybody want to usurp the rights of the people. And when you look at the content of what is in there, the gentleman says, the so-called Mansa has indicated in there that the MPP should forget about winning the next election if the IGP is still in place. And he goes on to say that he has even asked the president. The president has refused to cite that. What kind of conversations does the gentleman have with the president? And if the president knows such a conversation has gone on, what has he done about it? What has he done about it? Look, when I heard this thing, the first thing that came to mind was, what was the mens rea? What was the intention of the people having the discussion? Look, if you and I are plotting something, we are plotting something, just you and I, why would I record it? Or why will you record it? What was the intention of that recording? Was there an intention to expose it? What was the intention? Nobody has been able to tell me why it was recorded. And that content in there, for me, if it's not to paint the government black, then it is something that has been going on. Because remember, in his statement, he did not indicate this kind of thing in Kumu. He said, in Asin North, look at how rigid the IGP was. If we're going to follow him, and I'm paraphrasing, then for the 2024 election, how can people think that way? Elections are won should be based on the message that you send. The message you give the people, convince the people that you are better than any other party standing in the election. But you see, in Ghana today, we have bastardized everything, unfortunately. Everything is either partisan, it's either politics, or it's either money. The moral fabric of this country, unfortunately, is broken. Leadership doesn't seem to have control. When I say leadership, I'm not really talking about the president and politicians. Value chain, down the value chain, where we cannot even shout at our children. It means parents who have even forgone that role of taking care of their children.
Sure.
Let me give you an example. I think it was last week, when the people who supply food to the school feeding caterers decided to go on strike. 200 students have had to go home. Is it not a collective responsibility of parents and government?
Sure.
Is it not? Are you trying to tell me that parents would rather see their children at home than be fed? And if it's a collective responsibility, isn't it up to the parents to gather themselves? We can't allow children to come home and sit at home when they can be in school to spend. This is just a short duration. Let's all see what we can do, no matter how much. Let's put ourselves together so that we can provide food for the children till this thing is over.
Sure.
Did we do it? No. The children are sitting at home. Whose benefit is that to? Isn't it waste of money? And so that leadership thing that we're supposed to have, that care that we're supposed to have, is being bastardized, unfortunately. Unfortunately. True leadership in Ghana is forgotten.
Whose fault is it? Let me ask you, sir, why have we come to this? Why have we come to this? That one particular group of people come to Ghana to take over the reins of power, and hell has broken loose. I mean, everything, nobody is actually saying what should be said. I know people are frustrated. Many are annoying, angry. A lot of very highly influential people Whenever I call them privately, they say, "Oh, Mansa Musa, some have given me dates next year, April. Some have given me, next year September." Everyone is like afraid to talk. What is going on?
I don't know. I'm not afraid to talk. I'm always talking. Yes, I get victimized, but I don't care. Because look, country broke and no broke, whether it's NPP, NDC, CPP, PNC, people in power, country broke and no broke, I am part of it.
Exactly.
I get affected too. When Muso came, we all got affected too.
Yes.
So if you sit in a country, things aren't going right, and because of victimization, and because you're here, and because you join a certain political, you can't talk. And so how country gets right? How? How? No, I don't profess to have all the knowledge in my head, but I can contribute. And the thing is, when you even contribute, do they listen? I'll give you a typical example. Toll. We've been paying toll levy for how many years now? We've been paying toll levy for how many years now? Then we agreed for a Chinese company to come and build a refinery. They spent $1.96 billion in building a refinery next door to Toll, just a few yards away from Toll. Now, this Chinese company is going to refine crude oil into AGOPMS, diesel and petrol and whatever we can get out of it.
Sure.
And listen to this. And they are not even going to do it the way we are doing it here. Anybody who has a tanker and wants to go and buy from them, you just bring your tanker and they just fill your tanker. Are you not taking away people's livelihoods? Are you not? And that particular sector, the downstream, is for Ghanaians alone. So why do you, with your refinery in tatters, you spent only 1.3 million around that amount this year to look at it? Why do you agree for a Chinese company to come and set up? Then, what even makes it worse is that they will sell the crude that they refine in cedis. In their country, do they spend cedis? Do they spend cedis in their country?
No.
Can you take the cedis outside Ghana anywhere? Is it not the foreign money that is here, the dollars that is here that they are going to exchange?
Exactly.
Is that not capital flights? Have you gone to the IMF for what? For $3 billion? But we allow a foreign company to come and set up a refinery, which is key to the economy here. And when they sell, they change the money and take it out. Are we thinking?
You see, Mr. Jantua, you see, in all this, I share your frustration. Many people, in fact, one lady said, Mansa Musa, be fair to him, if it was in Europe or in UK, the mothers and fathers will march and picket at the schools, shouting at the government that why is it that they cannot be fed, or is it because of food, their wards have to come home. This is not fair, this is not right. Ghana is completely broken up into pieces. So someone supporting you on that point. But then, let me hold your feet to the fire a bit. Not literally, but as a politician, I support that notion that it looks as if you guys, the other side of the politics, you've left all the work or the job to the opposition NDC. And so anything that the NDC does is like, oh, MPP, NDC. And when the other politicians from the other parties come in, you only come and equalize. You come and say, oh, both are the same. So in that sense, it is making the NPP, Kufuor and his people get away with everything they are doing. How do you answer to that?
You're saying what? The other political parties
you people are not active enough in condemning
which people?
or attacking.
Please,
I mean, the other politics. I'm saying the other politicians like CPP, PPP, other political parties.
Let me tell you.
That you are not forceful enough, you are not shouting enough, you are not condemning the government enough.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The media in this country, unfortunately, turned this country into a two-party state. When even some of the other political parties get up to talk, they don't even report it. They don't even report it. When there are national events, not even invited. And so it has become a two-horse race. It has become a horse race. And it is not easy for all the other political parties, the so-called small ones, to even raise their heads. And I've said, and I keep saying, and I will not hide it, it cannot be CPP alone. It cannot be PNC alone. It cannot be PP alone. Why? Because they have been split by these two. And if the encroachment groups can get up and see what is happening, I'm sorry, because one man cannot do it. It's like a broomstick. You take one out, you can break it. Try breaking the whole broomstick. It's not possible. I have said the encroachment groups should all put all their differences aside. Let's come together as one force and show these two that we are ready to rule. But it's falling on deaf ears. It's falling on deaf ears. So
I guess my question wasn't clear enough. I didn't express it properly. You see, what I meant to, I wanted to say is, during Mahama's time, the condemnation and accusation was direct and straight to the NDC. But people are saying that now, what is happening is even the other so-called smaller parties, when they are given the chance, they go on platforms, they go there to equalize. They'll go and say, oh, both NDC and PP, they are the same. Instead of attacking what is wrong now, at the moment, they tend to share the blame. And so by doing that, the Akufo-Addo and his people are getting away with murder. That is the accusation.
Well, some of us don't do that. I mean, if you've listened to me, most of the times I'm on the media. I speak to issues. I don't have time for equalization. I don't have time for equalization. Probably I'll ask a question. Probably I'll say, when you were in opposition, 2016, you said the NDC were using loans to pay loans. And that when you come into power, you would look at adding value.
Yes.
You would not go for too many loans. But you came in and you're doing the same thing. Explain. When you went in power, you said NDC have taken us to IMF. Over your dead body, will we ever go to IMF? Where are we now? We are in IMF. Explain. I don't have equalization. I have time for explanation. Explain to me why. And so now I've been saying we are going into election 2024. Anybody who puts their head there to say, I am going to stand as president in the elections, tell us before you even vote that you will not take us to IMF. Tell us you will not take us to IMF. And if you take us to IMF, it's a recipe for you impeached. I just saying it. Will you get support from Ghanaians? Will you? Look, the problem can't only be politicians. Ghanaians also share a huge burden.
Yes.
Ghanaians share a huge burden. Because if you can't, you know your party is doing wrong, and you can't say it. What is your use? What is your use? How does the country build? Because right now in Ghana, we have brought political parties before country. How can that be possible?
NFM Radio.
How can that be possible? How can you bring political parties before country? In that country, there's no political party. The president will go to Asin North and know people are buying votes. And the president comes and stands on the platform. And as president of the nation, you say nothing about it because it benefits you. Because it benefits you, you should be the first one to say, I have heard that people are buying votes in this election. Ghanaian, and democracy is not built on buying votes. Anybody who comes and asks you to sell their vote, tell them you will not take the money and make sure you report them. Did he say it? Is he not president? Is he not father of the nation? So what are we talking about? And then you find President Mahama also saying that, yes, when they come, take the money. It's corruption.
You see, that is exactly what I want to, I don't know if we have enough time, but let's go into the politics a bit. Now, we have the 10 people vying for the NPP flag bearership, all of them promising change. My question is, change from what to what? Change from what they are already involved, and yet they are not even admitting their involvement? What is it they are telling us? What do you make of their message or messages?
Well, if you hear the message of most of the aspirants for the NPP, they seem to be deviating from the Akufo-Addo-led government and its policies. They seem to be criticizing it and trying to tell us that they will do better. In fact, Kwabena Japan, don't vote for someone who has already proven that they handle this economy. Vote for someone who hasn't been part and parcel of the Akufo-Addo government. But is it not one political party? Do they not come up with one manifesto? Do they not all, at the time of voting, didn't they all market that manifesto? So what are they talking about? Who are they trying to deceive? When some of them, they were talking, were they not cabinet ministers? Did they not sit in cabinet? Are they able to tell the president, you're going the wrong way? And even if the president, he doesn't like, don't resign. Don't you tell the people of Ghana, this and this and this is going on, I don't want to, so I'm resigning out of the government. Don't you do that? Personal interest is there.
These people are not, I don't know, they call themselves strategists and the rest. But imagine if Alan Chermantin 6 months ago had said, look, enough is enough.
You're cracking up, please. You're not clear.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm saying, imagine 6 months ago if Alan Chermantin had come out to say that, look, enough is enough. He is resigning because they don't listen to him. You would have gained some traction or some sympathy, wouldn't he?
Yes, but unfortunately, he didn't. Unfortunately, none of them did. I mean, the agriculture minister is saying that the only way Ghana can achieve what it is looking for is agriculture.
Yeah.
Did you tell the president then? Were you not Minister of Agriculture? And if you saw that and the president didn't take it, why didn't you resign?
Exactly.
The luxuries of position, the luxuries of being a minister have gone to our head. The luxuries of having a motor in front of you when you're driving around town and sitting in a press gone to our head. Is that the essence of governance? Is that the essence of governance? Come to London. Come to London. Don't MPs go on buses? Don't MPs sit on trains? Don't MPs ride their bicycles to Parliament?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? And if you know the amount of money that was spent in the Asin North election and even in Kumewu, The fact that, look, tanker drivers were on strike because of bad roads heading for Tema. So they were on strike. But they were able to find money to quickly go and do roads in Asim North and Kubewu when tanker drivers were on strike. Does it make sense? And then people are quiet, and people are looking, and people are seeing.
You see, the other time I wrote something. I said, look, in my day, Kalabule, in my day, they were there. You know, bribery, corruption has been there since the days of Adam. But in my day, it was done in secrecy. People who took bribes, didn't want anyone to hear. But today it's been formalized. And we all know that the Bank of Ghana has printed billions of cedis, and they are now sharing it. This is wrong, isn't it?
Look. Corruption is part and parcel of life. And I'll tell you, there's corruption in the UK.
Yes.
There's corruption in America. There's corruption in Germany. There's corruption in Europe. But I'll tell you something. If they do what they have to do, essential services for the people, if they do what they have to do, really, nobody can be bothered about corruption. If there are street lights, if there's water, if children can go to school, if hospitals can look after their people, who's bothered?
Exactly.
Who's bothered? But no, we won't do that. Our personal interest comes first before anything else. Our personal interest comes first. Look, today, I think it's the American embassy. I've forgotten who it was, either the World Bank. They have warned that if we do not look at our energy sector and the energy sector debts that we have, we are heading for doomsday. We are heading for doomsday, and the government should, as soon as possible, make sure we can find ways of clearing the mess in the energy sector. The government has been in power for what? 7.5 years. Why haven't we been able to do that? Why? Some of us have said, look, why don't you bring out a policy where renewable energy, solar for that matter, should every new house that is built, the policy is that you must have a solar panel on your roof. If such a policy is in place, within the next 5 years, what would happen? You'd have residential buildings having solar panel, and then the conventional power that we are generating now can be pushed into the commercial sector.
Industry,
commercial sector, industry. Look, Valco is a needed resource, a needed institution because of the bauxite and the manganese we have. It's key. But if we switch on Valco today, we are straight into doomsday because of the quantum of electricity that Valco needs. So what is the plan? What is the plan? And when we tell government, look, we do have a long-term national development plan in this country, 40-year national development plan in this country. Where is it? Where is it?
Where is it?
Look, I was part of that team. I was part of the team that drafted the energy sector, the long-term national development plan. We handed it to President Akufo-Addo around February 2017. Professor Butchie, may his soul rest in peace, handed it to him. Where is it? Have the people or even media seen it? Even do it for the people to read through to see what is good in it, what's not good in it. Has it happened? And we are still going under manifestos? What have manifestos done for Ghana? You look at it. What has manifestos, even forget the other republics, Fourth Republic alone, what has manifestos done? So you ask yourself, you have a country like South Korea, they have a 20-year development plan for energy. 4 hours. And today, energy is key. Energy is like air you breathe. It's like water you drink. So
let's move on a bit because of time factor. I want to ask you this one quickly. Your party, CPP, recently, I heard the rumor, the news that you guys were trying to talk to other parties of ideologies, and that you want to come together to form a unified force against NDC MPP. I'm hearing that particular, effort or that arrangement has come to naught. I mean, it won't happen. What is going on?
Well, we have party executives, and it is something that some of us have been thinking. But there are others who have personal interest in there. I wouldn't want something like that to happen. And so it is up to us to make sure we push it and push it well. Because, you see, the major challenge we have in this country is personal interest. It's a major challenge. I can get money from here. I can get money from there. I can go and see this. So if I do this, it might hurt my chance of making this money here or making this money there. We have put ideology to the background, unfortunately. And even if some of us try to say this is the way we should go, it's true. They do something else. One man, I told you, I said you can break one broomstick. You can't break all the broomsticks at once.
No.
People in a party who are more interested in their personal interest than sacrificing for the country. And that's one thing we don't know how to do. We don't know how to sacrifice for us to build a better country for others to come and enjoy. We don't know how to do that. Our forefathers did it, but we don't know how to do it. So a few would want it, but majority would not want it done. That is the challenge.
Don't you think it would be better for all of you to come together to say, look, the target or the main goal is to get, is to rid the country of this Akufo-Addo group, and that whoever emerges can be managed, can be controlled, instead of everyone coming to claim as though they can do something different. PPP coming on their own, CPP coming on their own, PSC coming on their own.
Let me tell you something, my brother. If you have a country with so many laws and the law can't be enforced, what happens? What happens? You have all the laws in this country, even law for jaywalking in this country. We don't abide by the laws. What happens? No, if you were to ask me where Ghana is today, where Ghana is today, I would, two things. I would either ask for a national government where we can build this country back up.
Sure.
Or on the outside, go for the British parliamentary type of governance. And ask me why. Doesn't the Prime Minister come to the dispatch box?
He does.
Isn't the Prime Minister questioned directly? Does the Prime Minister have aides talking to him all the time?
No.
He brings out a law, he brings out a situation happening, he's at the dispatch box. The question is asked him directly.
You are very right. You see, considering that what has happened, we have everybody, and I know that even some diplomats are quietly talking about this in their enclaves, but the president is quiet about it. I mean, this is not right, is it?
Why should diplomats be? Why should anybody be quiet? Some of us say it. Some of us say it. The parliamentary system, if we are not going to come together and hold hands together and see how we build this nation back up, then let's go to the parliamentary system where accountability will be on the table. Transparency will be on the table. Because at this particular moment in time, accountability and transparency are out of order. And this presidential system.
Mr. Jantua, my big brother, but We'll be our first episode. Busa question back on just one question. Me myself, I'm tired for the night, but just for one question, I think it's only fair. We grant him that question, right?
I'm listening.
All
If
right.
I can answer, I will answer.
Okay, Kwesi.
Yeah, Mansa Musa.
Yeah, go ahead, Kwesi.
Yeah, Mr. Jantua. Good evening, Mr. Jantua. Can you hear me?
Good evening. You're
Mr.
faint.
Jantua,
Please speak up.
I have a question for the CPP fraternity. Mr. Jantua, don't you think the current CPP group, from CPP to Pakwesindum to the others, you are part of the challenges Ghana is going through? Why don't CPP come together?
Yes.
Listen, why don't CPP come together and fight for the parliamentary seat instead of thinking of getting the presidential seat? Why?
I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. Look, if you're able to get into parliament, and I have said, if you're able to parliament, even with 5 seats, and you prove in parliament you're responsible, people say, hey, see people, they are strong in parliament, then people now start looking at the party. Because it is absolutely absurd to go into an election and get 0.7%. Absurd. It's absurd. You've got to build a party from somewhere. And some of us have said, let's build parliament. What? No, listen. Because people's egos have to be taken care of, unfortunately.
Right. Kwesi, your question is answered.
So the final one, Mr. I would like to appeal to the CPP fraternity. You see, Ghanaians, there are other Ghanaians who want to vote for CPP. For some of us, we know it very well. So we want to fit with CPP and the fraternity.
My brother, let me say something to you. It's not the CPP fraternity. The CPP alone, I'm telling you, cannot do it. And even if the CPP can do it, the others who are in Nkrumahs will be pressing in. I believe it has to be the Nkrumahs fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much larger fraternity than the CPP of today. And if you believe in the ideology and the works of Nkrumah, then that is where it should start from. That is what I believe in. Forget the names.
People like you, Nkrumah, you should begin to fight the crusade. And listen, look at the numbers that can come along with you guys. Because nothing is happening. Pakwesindum, we thought he was going to take that bold step. But he rather failed and went to PPP and create more division with the Nkrumah front. So,
personal interest.
I would like to challenge you and your big men in Ghana that you start the crusade.
My brother, let me tell you something today in Ghana. If you're a politician, and you are not doing personal interest, the people would even insult you. Let me give you an example. When the president nominates people, positions, and they go for them, look at the number of people who come. What do you think? Who do you think those people are? Or the idea of that is the mentality. Why should everybody be going for vetting and his whole family are there? Why? For what? So you try. Get into position and bring country first. And don't bring your family first. And you see what will happen to you. The kind of insults you would attract. But you've got to be brave, and you've got to make sure that people understand that country come before personal interest. And not a lot of us in politics today understand that concept.
Mr. Jantua, I wish you all the best for endeavors going forward. Hopefully, the Nkrumah, Nkrumah East End, the Nkrumah ideology, the Nkrumah know-how, however long it takes, may we see it prevail. Thank you very much for your
I have hope. I have hope. You know why I have hope?
Mm-hmm.
The MPP, even for 30 years, they came back. The NDC have in and out, in and out. I still have hope for the Nkrumah expedition that we will come up.
Sure. Have a good evening. It's been very, very good talking to you. Have a good evening. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
NFM Radio.
Right, so when you hear this music, then you know Mansa Musa, maybe Magrizi. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do it all over again. I wish you all a brilliant evening. Everything that you set your heart out to do tomorrow, I hope you win. As for Ghana, what is happening? If we say we're gonna talk, we ain't gonna live here tonight. Kufuor has messed up miserably. In a country where an MP himself says that my people want me dead. An MP belonging to a party that is ruling says my people say they want me dead, so that there will be a by-election to at least get a chance of getting some infrastructure programs done. Now we in Yareho. What a shame. Anybody supporting MPP, guys, you have lost it. This MPP with Kufuor, you have lost it. Maybe, hey! I like you play it again. Okay, what can I do? I'm here for you, the listeners. So if you have requested, I will play it again. So the president saw a chief sitting down while the national anthem was being played. For whatever reason, the chief did not stand up in respect of the national anthem. Kufuor was furious, throwing his weight, throwing his hands. You know, Kufuor too, he is very tall and handsome. So he was directing his people to go and talk to the chief, tell the chief off. Next time he should stand. Then after a few weeks, another national anthem was played. And Akufo-Addo's daughter, the whole world have seen her talking on the telephone. Giving no giving no damn to the national anthem at all because he's the Akufo-Addo Pikin. But you see, for me, even if at that their background, if maybe daddy's daughter, embarrassed daddy. Now, when you get home, what every sensible government or any sensible presidency will do, they will issue a statement to apologize to the whole country that the president is furious or the president really is not happy with the way his daughter disrespected the national anthem. That one would have solved so many problems. No, Akufo-Addo na emfane ho. Me say who would Akufo-Addo support? I don't know. You should get your gumptions inspected. Jesus Christ. Well, what the pass MPC? Hey, me kromo for me constituency on pese mi wu. Almost me wu. Ni enfa by elections embra. No munya amenities. Na we ne papa mu die. Ne papa mu die. Emize, maybe my brother. Agree, Dewa. Eba. Maybe my brother. Abuzo, Abu Tabu, Abu Jibo, Abu Abucho, Abu maybe my brother. Yes, maybe Magruti. Thank you very much and good night.
NFM Radio. This your back on a triple socket. I know go people for pocket. Do me la 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 la. If you see my baby, and I say, need a feeling up, I bet your love. Slow motion. You make a check body lotion. I didn't get no pushing. So we take a cross slow motion, yeah. Slow motion. You make a check body lotion. I didn't get no pushing. I want to see you dance. I want to see you. Me better than jelly. Yeah, release the stress.